On this episode of breaking down viral moments in football so that you actually understand what's going on, we have the second division of Portugal. Now, the second division of Portugal feels like it shouldn't be much of a bush league, but there is a very, very big caveat in Portugal, and that is that there is not enough infrastructure, money, or like all of this coming from, there just aren't a lot of people in Portugal relative to countries like Spain and Italy and Germany and France and England, where the top 5 leagues are. And then you have Portugal as the 6th league. Well, the gap between the top league in Portugal and the second league in Portugal is way more significant. You learn that when you play Football Manager. You learn that when you ever watch things like this, compared to the gap between the English Championship or Ligue 2 or the Zweite Bundesliga or Serie B or La Liga Hypermotion. I don't remember what all the sponsors are. I think it's La Liga Hypermotion, but honestly, I don't know. La Segunda División. Hell yeah, brother. I hablo. Just yo hablo. But you're going to find out exactly how Bush League, that Portuguese second division, happens to look. Because I was tagged in something 3 times on my birthday, and it was an excellent birthday present yesterday, because the thing I was tagged in was a picture. It's a picture of a linesman in this Portuguese second division pouring milk into the line drawing device. You know the thing? It's got like the wheels. I don't know what it's called. The line drawing thing, right? And you put the paint in it, and then you walk it, and that's the line. Right? And if you're really precise about it, you got your strings and everything. But Portuguese second division, you're probably just eyeballing it, right? You're painting the lines onto the field. Well, now we have a picture of some dude just dumping milk into the machine. Now, a lot of questions. First one, are we talking fat-free? 2%? Is this whole milk? I mean, I drink whole milk because I seem to be in the minority of the population that can properly process dairy products. Maybe that's the price I had to pay with my hairline. Genetics is you get bonuses and minuses. All right, I got 3% Neanderthal in me, and I know that's not a surprise to anyone. What kind of milk is the most effective for this job, and why? Right, because the first time I got tagged in this, the suggestion was that they didn't have enough paint to paint the lines. In which case, buy more paint. Get it on Amazon. I don't know. Where does the paint come from? The paint fairy? What do you mean you don't have enough paint? Right? I've done multiple videos about clubs going into debt. I have never talked about them running out of paint to paint the fields. I mean, some dude in the stands can probably just buy the paint for you if it's that much of a problem. Go to Lowe's. Go to Ace Hardware down the street. Go to your hardware store. Pick up some paint. I don't know. I have no idea the logistics behind the painting of any of these fields. But how do you end up in a situation where you don't have the paint and then use the milk instead? And you know me, I found a video of this, right? But that wasn't before I tried to do something else. Because there is an article. I managed to find an article. UD Oliveirense explains the use of whole milk. So it was whole milk, okay? And this was on a website called record.pt. But in order to read the article, you have to try Record Premium for just 3 months for €3. Now, because I love you guys, I was willing to pay the €3 to find this out. So I clicked on try it out. Okay. At which point I was brought into, I clicked on new registration. I had to translate it into English, and I was brought onto this page. I filled it out, and it would not accept my American mobile phone number. It just wouldn't do it. Not +1, not 1, right? With the country code in the front of it. It did not recognize my American mobile phone number. And that was heartbreaking, because I very rarely am dedicated enough to actually go through and do something like this. So a real slap in the face, when you finally get up off the couch and wipe the Cheeto dust off you and you go after it, I'm going to apply myself today. I'm going to create an account for this thing. And then it just doesn't work. That's tough. That's a bitter realization. But then I decided to go with another angle. What if I sign in on Google? But in order to sign in on Google, apparently, I still had to enter an email, a password, and then I tried to check that I have read and understood the terms of use and privacy policy. But then the next two were authorizing the collection and communication of my personal data in very aggressive sounding terms. Now, obviously, Google Translate might have done that, But then when it didn't, like I said I'm not a robot and tried to register for this website. It then just went to complete the registration, agree to the collection and communication of your personal data, which I appreciate Google Translate getting very direct with this. So either I agreed to the collection and communication of my personal data in very broad terms from this Portuguese website, or I got a Portuguese phone number. So I kind of, I wasn't able to read the article, is what I'm getting down, if we get down to brass tacks. But I did manage to find the video. Anyways, somebody, very wonderful somebody, managed to throw it up on Reddit. And after searching milk, I was able to find it on Our Soccer. It was actually quite easy. And this is the video, okay? These are the guys dumping milk. That's milk. And then shout out to this guy. I mean, you couldn't run to Ace Hardware or Lowe's or Walmart to pick up some paint, but you could go to the store to grab a 6-pack of milk. Also, do you guys get your milk in 6-packs? What is this? I mean, that's like Sam's Club, Costco sort of, 3 booms for the 6-pack of milk thing going on. Who buys milk in bulk like that? We used to have a milkman for a reason. Shit goes bad pretty fast. And this is whole milk. This is like the juice. This is the nectar of the gods, man. This is the thing they tell you you'll drink and it'll make you a good athlete, even though I'm pretty sure that's a lie. And this guy managed to buy 6 of them in this orange little case. And now we've got a couple of dudes, one in, like water boots, which love that, dumping this milk in here. And those water boots are your first clue as to the actual reason that this is happening. Because what if I told you that this club wasn't doing anything stupid? If, in fact, they were doing something that made a lot of sense. Those water boots indicate to you, as a very discerning person that you are, that it's raining a lot. Look at the puddle. There's a right here. There's a puddle on the ground right there. A puddle. As in, it's raining a lot. The field is an absolute mess, and the lines have been washed away. Okay, so now the lines have been washed away. Well, what is the best way to paint those lines back on? The problem is the ground's all wet. And by all wet, I mean it is so wet that the guy that seems in charge here, the main linesman guy, is wearing like water boots. Okay, that's how wet the ground is. This poor guy is absolutely ruining his New Balances. Although I didn't know New Balance had such a stranglehold on Portugal in general. And upon further investigation, due to a lack of ink, that's how it was reported here too. All of that is wrong. It seems to be wrong. I would assume that is what this article says, but I don't know. I'll never be able to read it. They literally wouldn't take my money. But if you go down below this Reddit post, and I've looked this up a couple different places, and it does make sense. The top comment was, it was not used instead of paint. It's used for paint to stick better in watery grass because of the lactose. So what they did was they got a bunch of milk, which sticks better to watery grass, and they added some paint to it, some tint, which is probably already in there because, I mean, it's not like they cleaned the paint machine out before they dumped all the milk in. So that added some more color to the milk. And now you can redraw the lines. Granted, they're not going to look fantastic. I mean, they actually look like somebody, they look like somebody had the runs walking down the line here, right? It's not a great looking line, but it is a line that is there that you can see that sticks to the wet ground. Then if you scroll a little further, according to the club, it's a groundsman's trick, as the full-fat milk they used doesn't dilute as easily on heavy rain days. So instead of this being a poverty club thing or some like batshit crazy idea that somebody had because they ran out of ink, it's actually a 9,000 IQ play. It's the linesman having one of those like, oh, I'm an old linesman and this is the thing, like one of those old tricks that only the cool old guy sitting at the end of the bar knows, right? Where if you dump a bunch of whole fat milk, and it's a lot. Okay, they're just like, look at how much they're the whole case, bro. Give me that 6-pack, and your homie hands you a 6-pack of milk. I like the urgency with which they're doing this too, right? He dumps it in, tosses it to the side. We got 3, just a couple of homies pouring milk into a paint machine. That sounded bad. Anyways, turns out it was a genius move, not an idiot move, not a poverty move. It was just incredibly rainy, and they needed some way to get the ink to stick so that they could redraw the lines. so that they were able to play the game. So shout out to them. Sorry they're getting like slated for, oh, they're using milk. What the hell is going on? But if you were seen that video and you were searching for some sort of explanation as to what the hell was going on, that's your explanation. Okay.